this is Catherine Dubberly, the Answer Lady. Today I'm bringing you some support videos for my new cables and lace spring cardigan that is loom knitted. You may find the techniques useful in other ways as well, but they do specifically refer to the cables and lace cardigan.
What do you do if you mess up? Which I did. I noticed when I was showing you that last eyelet that there was something wrong in here. There was too much space showing between some stitches. And I went back and looked underneath. Can you see where that line is got a hitch in it? So I've crossed this cable wrong a couple or 3 rows back. And it's not a piece of cake to fix, but it is fixable, so there's no need for tears. And I thought, why not just confess my error and show you how to fix it? I'm going to unknit rows until I'm at the point where I think that the mistake occurred. And then I'm going to cross them correctly and knit them back. But you do not have to unknit absolutely everything. Not all the stitches, just the stitches that are involved. And as you go, hang the newly emerging stitches from down the work back onto the pegs so that you don't lose them completely. Keep turning back and forth. I've still got my error in there. I can see it. So I need to go another row back. And I may have to go another stitch over. But that's okay. A few stitches is not a crisis. There it is. That's the one that was probably crossed wrong. Let's look underneath here. The row, well actually it's not a row, the line of cabling is correct up to there. And at this point, these two should have been crossed and were not. And actually these two should not have been crossed, and I see that they are. So let me fix that. No big deal there. This is why I emphasized counting and paying close attention, and then I didn't follow my own advice very well, did I? But it happens. Sadly, we are not perfect. This stitch appears to be the one that should be crossed in this row. I'm going to go ahead and cross it and then examine it from beneath. You could also count back how many rows we ripped out and consult the chart for the correct row, the row we're actually working on right now, which is below the row that we thought we were on, the row the rest of this stuff is on, and examine which needles should have been involved in the cross. There, my line is now a clear and correct angle. So what do I do next? I make sure that I do not mix up these two pieces of yarn, and it's easy to tell the difference. This one, you see, is involved in an active stitch right there and right there. So that's the top one. And I'll just flip it out of my way. This stitch is the one that's going to be moved. So I'll E-wrap it. There should be plenty of yarn for that because I did do my E-wraps throughout. Then the last one I pulled through like that. And now the rest is just pretty much normal. We'll knit these stitches off and cross them and do the same with the remaining bit of yarn. Whoops. See that hitch? I have to go down even farther than I thought to correct my boo-boo. So I will follow the same procedure that I just did and ravel all the way down into here, but just these few stitches, and we'll go back. I've determined that these are the stitches involved, So I've lifted them all off of the pegs, and I'm going to undo one row at a time. This is harder than what I just showed you because I've got to go farther. So keeping the spare pieces of yarn, or the unraveled rows, orderly is extra important. But I'll lay them over in order till I get back to the second problem. Turns out that I had made 2 mistakes in this piece of work, and that just serves me right for getting in a rush. I was so excited about the progress I was making and excited to see the piece come together that I didn't check and double check, and this is what happens. Let's see where we are. Okay, we're correct up to there. So now it's time to hang each of these back on its peg, very gently. You may be afraid that they will run, and they could, but people are way more afraid of it than they need be. If you handle them carefully, the stitches may get a little bit smaller, as that one tried to do, but they will rarely just run amok. And this one did unknit, but I'll show you. I'm just going to hang it on where it is and come back and correct it momentarily as soon as I locate these last 2. This is tedious, and if you preferred to, you could just rip out the whole thing, but I rarely prefer that. The only time that I would is if I couldn't make it look nice doing it this way, and then it certainly is worth redoing it all the way. However, if you've been gentle with the yarn, it probably will work out fine. Okay, I remember I dropped a stitch. See that? That's where it should be. So we'll just hang that piece of yarn on the peg and knit it over. These will be knitted back one at a time, but first let's make certain that I've gotten rid of the hitch that was down here. And I have a nice straight line. And you've already seen how we do this. I'm going to do these rows one at a time, and I'll get back to you a little along. I'm halfway there. I had 6 rows to go, and now I've done 3 of them. Let's figure out which the next one is and keep on going. And there we are, good as new. You really can't see that anything went on. There's our first little eyelet, and everything else is back to normal with nice, neat lines. Obviously, it would be better not to mess up, but if you do, don't throw yourself in front of a bus. It's fixable.